and welcome to Broken Tool Garage. This week, I'm going to be working on my '89 Mustang JYM, or Junkyard Mustang. I'm going to be changing out the seats I got out of the junkyard. See kind of where I got the name right there. I'm going to be trading those out. Those are the red LX seats from a convertible. They're red. I don't have any other red parts. I know someone who wants them, and they'll fit my seat belts better because I got the 3-point harness seat belts in there. So that's what I'm going to be doing this week, is go to an upgraded, more of a race seat in there. And well, there's nothing to do but to just pull the old seats out and get to it. Okay, got the car up. I just jacked the rear end up because it's better on that side, proportionally, anyways. So what I have here is a buddy of mine made this subframe connector with just some 1x1 tubing and put the angle iron on here. And what the angle is, it comes up and over, and we'll get a shot from the other side, but it's the angles like that, right? Because you got angle iron, so it reinforces the seat, and he drilled holes where the bolts would be in the seat pan so that it actually bolts together. Now, mine are welded in on both ends over here, and if you're going to do certain racing classes, specifically the SCCA autocross class, you got to look up the rules, because putting a bolt-on subframe connector, I think, is one category, or points. Local autocross groups do a point system, and if you weld it in, then it's a different amount of points. So you can be basically pushed into a higher category just by doing this right here and being to basically a higher competition level because it's welded in instead of a bolt in or not having one on there. So anyways, let's look on this side and you'll see what I'm talking about. Okay, so there's the angle iron I was talking about right there, and this a hole for the bolt to come through, and then just it has enough threads to put a nut on the end of that, and then that ties it together. So these are a pretty simple. This is done in an exhaust shop. I just put it in the bender right there and just did the 2 bends. Is all you need, is a bend there and a slight bend there. Ties together 1x1 tubing. Super simple, really cheap to do. All right, let's get that off so we get the seat out. All right, I'm doing the rears first. That's where the seat brace is from the sway bar. So on mine, it's a 15mm bolt there and there. And just take them out, and then we'll go to the front ones. So the front ones right there, just move the seat back is the best way to put it all the way back, and then you reach those. Those are on studs. A lot of times underneath those studs, it's going to be, the framing in there is going to be cracked. Pretty much if it hadn't been touched or repaired, it's going to be cracked. So that's something that I've done a little mod on and got that nice and beefy in there. All right, so these are the seats I'm taking out. And one of the reasons is because of my harness. I guess I could have showed that better, but these go, I'm over here, you should have thought this out a little better apparently. But these hook in where the factory lap belt would be, and then for the shoulder harness, I just put it back there since I don't have that useless rear seat anyway. So they just come in like that, and that's one of the things I want to do, is get a seat that has a cutout for that so that it holds those in a lot better. And there it is. It's out. Oh, see that? That's not a factory relay. That's a nice weather pack connector right here. Whenever I wired up my fuel pump, I went in with this so I could get the nice heavier gauge wires going to it. So I got a video on that. I'll put that up there in a card. Also, my little reinforcement plate that's underneath there, so the stud's not all wobbly, got a video out on that. I'll put that up there. Please check those out if you're interested in those, need to know that information, or want to see how someone else has tackled it. I'm going to get that other seat out. I'm going to get it in the truck and get ready to do some swapping on that. This weekend I'm going to go out and do car part swapping, and hopefully that goes good. I'll have some nice seats to put in. I'll show you how to put those in and what they look like. Okay, this is what I picked up. I had to drive a pretty good little ways. Got to test drive the truck. Got the that air dam on there, and yeah, got these. I traded the old seats for these. Also got these headers too. These aren't the little pinched off ones right there, so that'll be another mod for another day. So they look pretty good. They are used, but a lot better than the other seats I had, at least in my opinion. And that's what makes a good trade, is both sides think they're getting a great deal, right? Okay, so this is what he did on the seat mounts. If you hear a fan, it's because it's hot, and it's going to be hot for the next 6 months at least. All right, so it looks like he took the factory Mustang seat bracket right here out of the junky seat and cut it, put it on some flat stock right here to mount it. Because when you buy these seats, they'll come with the rail, usually the adjuster rail, but they won't come with any kind of mounting, right? So that's extra to buy the mounting. So he just made it, you know. Nothing big to it. A bunch of ways you can go about it, but that's all he did right there. So that's just simple. We'll get in there, just welded it on. We have our stock brackets, and we just got a piece of flat stock steel on there. That's simple. So you can buy seats that are for Fox Mustangs. The difference is going to be they come with that, and depends on if you're willing to pay the extra money for the bracket if you don't want to weld it. But that's how simple it is, right? All right, well, I'm going to get to tossing this in. Okay, the passenger side one dropped right in. I'll have to take it out and make sure all the bolts and brackets and all that stuff is tightened down real good. It dropped in. The driver's side, I'm having a little bit of issues, so I'm wondering if something got out of whack between it getting pulled out or not. So I'll take a peek at that. This is what you'll get to do when you're working on something like that. If you don't buy the exact bracket and everything, you just got to modify it, kind of like how we modify all kinds of other things on our cars, right? So this is to let you know what level are you comfortable with in modifying. Seat bracket, that's not a big deal, but it is a little tedious. So this one, just there's something funny going on with it. It's in there crooked. It's not fitting for width and all that. So that's just one of the things. I'm gonna go in and see what we got and make sure everything's correct and didn't get loose or whatever in the disassembly process and transport. But nothing major there. Just putting some seats in. Okay, facing this way because the garage doors are open. But I just laid it up there and I swapped out the seat brackets from the passenger side to the driver's side. You just bolted them on. That's it. So I can drop that in because I need a driver's side, and I'll mess around with those other ones whenever I can. So don't look pretty, but it works. That's what you can do. Got them lubed up, ready to go. All right, I want to show you something over here. Y'all have probably noticed my seat that I made there that I like sitting in. So what I did was I just used a 1x1 square tubing, cut me a little hole in the end and bolted it on, and that gave me something to work off of. Now, I wasn't mounting it in a car, so that's why I just did the pipe tubing on there and add a little bracing to it, and that is a very comfortable chair. So that's some little idea that you can do as well, because if I did the square tubing, I can come off with some flat iron or angle iron or whatever, and basically make it my pattern, whatever I want it to be. From there, you can change your track length, width, all that once you put your square tubing on there like that 1x1 tubing, and that's going to be sturdier than what the factory stuff has, right? Okay, working on the passenger seat. So what I have here is, I think this position is good, so I've locked that down. So I'm going to come over here and work on this and basically extend this out and over. I will need to throw, it's been a few days since I've been out in the garage doing stuff. The trip, I traded with Ford Blue Gauge, and that's about 4.5 hours away. So the trip kind of wore me out a little bit. Okay, sometimes I wish I could just take a light and stick it right there and it just hover, because that's where I need a light. Okay, so if we're looking at this, we can see the distance that it need to come over here, right? If I put my hand in the way of the light. But I don't think I'm glad I threw it in here, because I think I need to come over just a little bit, and I need to move it in. Come over here, we can see that there's enough room to come over a little bit more. Yeah, I put white lithium grease in there, sprayed some on there, so lube those up real good. Alright, so I will need to modify both sides. This one just a little bit, so I'm probably going to work on this one first to get the position to here correct, and then that'll leave me with whatever gap I need to fill up right there. Okay, doing this just to confirm with myself what to do. So there's the mount. I want the seat to go that way, but the mounting to stay exactly where it's at. So we see where the bolt is. So the bolt would have to come over just a little bit. So I'll need to add a little tab on there. Okay, this is what I'm talking about right here. I tack welded my extender plates on there. I have both brackets into the car. I'm going to set the seat down and look at what we got. Position the seat where I want it. I'll mark those brackets, and then I'll see these holes here, the original holes that were in there. Maybe they'll line up. Maybe I'll have to do the same thing, add a little extension piece on there. Don't know. That's part of fabrication. It's called iterations in trial and error. Okay, test fit come out. You can see in there where I had the white lithium grease. Yeah. So that'll come out the closest to the edge. I want to go there with, you know, keeping wall thickness in there. I want to come in where that hole is, come straight out and drill that one. Come over here, straight out, drill that one. Go ahead and weld this plate in, and I'll be done with that. I'm gonna go ahead and just put two of the similar plates over here, so whenever I go to put the seat down in there, I'll have my anchor point up here, right? Actually, I should be able to just go ahead and fully weld that one on once I get the holes, because I know where the holes need to go. I can go put it on the seat, right? I think I'll go ahead and do my holes, mount that one, drop it back down in over here, and then I'll have my plates on here, and I'll come over there and mark that and drill it, and done. Super easy. Alright, slotting. Yeah, I'm kind of at the edge of the garage door because this is a nasty thing. So what I started with, I kind of marked where I wanted the slot to be in pencil. Punched me two spots, actually I punched a spot, drilled a hole, small hole in my drill bit, like, I don't know, 1/8 inch or something like that. Then I come in with my step bit to enlarge it. Did the same thing for the second hole. Alright, cross over that bridge right there. I took my Dremel tool with the little Dremel burr bit thing on there, kit that I got for doing cylinder heads, and I just, you know, you let the tool do its job and slotted that out. Now you may say that slot's crooked. Well, how do you know I didn't weld the stinking bracket on crooked? Or how do you know I'm not crooked? Or how do you know I'm not tilting the camera crooked? But anyways, that's how you do a slot right there. That's how I do a slot. If you had a mill machine, it'd be a lot easier, but it was actually went pretty quick using a Dremel tool on that. Okay, now to figure out how to use 3 hands to do this here. Alright, so, I mean, you need 2 hands to do this. So I'm just going to show you, I need to add 1.5 inches, right? Now I'm coming from the edge of that bracket. And we're going to be right about 1 inch to the center. It's a hair more than that now, because if you see, we're not sitting on there. We're going to actually be up just a little bit. But what I'm going to do, I know I need to add 1.5 inch plate to that. I'll get those added, then I'll come in here and I can mark them exactly where they need to be. Alright, so I actually changed it from, I'm on minimum, from setting 1 to setting 2, and that is a huge difference. For this material, this thickness, which I think we're 1/8 inch-ish, around in there, this welder really likes being on setting 2. I just go through, it's a lot faster, better penetration in there. Don't have to go over it twice. Like setting 1, I gotta go over it twice. So I like welding this stuff way better than welding that stuff. That stuff sucks to weld, at least with this welder anyway. All right, well, got those on there. it needs to cool off. I need to cool off. It's like 90, humid, gonna thunderstorm later on today, so I'm trying to get this knocked out before those move in, and I gotta take a cool down break. But once that cools down, I can throw it in the car, throw the seat in there, and then I'll be able to mark that, drill, mount it, done. All right, here we go. Seats are in. Yeah, I still need to mount my fire extinguisher, but I got plans for that. So there we go. Traded red seats for red seats. All in there. This is still just a hair close, but that'll work. That'll work. Ended up with, I had a little bit more wiggle room in there, but we're looking pretty good. So hopefully this gives you the information you need for putting seats in your Fox Mustang or whatever car. It's kind of the same process right there. I just use this as a base. Hope you learned something from that. If I need to elaborate a little bit more on some of these things, let me know. That helps me get better and helps me get more information out to you. As far as the brand of the seats, I was just thinking that I don't know what brand seats those are. So they're a lot better than my old ones, and that's what I cared about, right? Okay, well, I'm going to close this one out. We've done turned humid in summer right now. I'm sweating standing here talking to you. So I'm going to close this one out. I appreciate you hanging out this long, and I'll see you next time on Broken Tool Garage.